Hey there, can I share something with you that completely changed how I think about money? These 5 simple rules might sound too basic, but they've helped me find more peace and freedom than any amount of money ever could. Now, I'm not saying money doesn't matter. It does, but these rules taught me that how you think about money is way more important than how much you actually have. And the crazy part, following these rules actually helped me save more money while feeling less stressed about it. I'm sharing the 5 simple money rules that can help you live with more intention and less anxiety. Let's dive in. So the first rule is understanding that money is a resource, not freedom. I think our society has this idea that once we reach a certain amount of money, we're gonna eventually feel happy and we're eventually going to feel free. I don't think that's an inherently evil way to look at money, but I think it's definitely incorrect. You're not going to be fulfilled by things. You're not going to be fulfilled if you have a big house. You're not going to be fulfilled if you have a massive car. At the heart of all minimalism, we understand that one of the most important rules is that things don't make us happy. The way we look at life, the things we value, the mindset we have, the faith we have, the importance of family and friends, that is far more important in life than any dollar amount. So a rule for minimalists is not to see money as a source of happiness, but just to focus on it as a resource. It's a resource to give gifts to family and friends. It's a resource to be able to do the things we want to do, whether that's traveling a little bit here or there, whether that's maybe getting to retire from our job a little early. We know that money and the things that it can buy us are not going to complete us or make us whole. Understanding that principle, being able to just look at money as what it is, which is a resource, is a way that we're going to be able to live a more fulfilling life, a life worth living, and just being able to feel more free by making simple decisions like that. But knowing what money is just the first step. The second rule is about how we handle the pressure from everyone around us. Our next rule is contentment over comparison. Part of the first point was talking about identifying money for what it truly is. And this rule is more following up and being okay with how things are. I think we see a bunch of people buying stuff we can't afford or buying stuff that honestly they can't afford either, and it makes us feel like we're doing something wrong. The comparison trap of I wish I was where they're at. At the heart of all minimalism is being okay with having very little. I think we look at other parts of the world where they're fighting for a meal, and over in America or the UK or maybe even Australia, we have so much better resources than other parts of the world. We need to realize that our minimalistic life is a lavish life in other countries. I think putting that into perspective makes us be a little bit more content as well. There's something freeing about that. And once you stop comparing yourself to others, there's a beautiful simplicity that opens up. The next rule is the KISS rule. Keep it simple, stupid. This is a little bit of a blunt statement, and I understand that. But I think there's wisdom in it that fits minimalism perfectly. Minimalism at the heart of it all is being simple. Being okay with waking up, going to work, coming back, and enjoying something simple, then going to sleep and waking up and doing that again. But having that in a framework that makes us happy. It's simple, but it's happy. I think part of this as well is when you're simple with your money, you're able to take more risks in your life. And risks, that word usually comes across as scary. But when I talk about risks in life, I talk about doing stuff that you want to do and not fearing the financial downsides of it. Life taking a risk, maybe it's quitting your job for a year and traveling. Maybe that's what you want to do. Maybe it's getting married young. That's a risk, but it's a good risk to take. Maybe it's just something that other people would look at as crazy, but you can do it because you have the financial freedom to. Because you live minimally, because you're not chasing these materialistic things, living simply gives you more freedom than obtaining $1 million ever would. Because it also keeps you in this mindset of, wow, money really doesn't matter. What really matters is how I live my life, what I choose to value, and what I choose to do. And I think there's something special about that. But simplicity is just part of the picture. The next 2 rules get to the heart of what really matters. This next rule in specific might challenge everything you've been told about success and what you should be chasing in life. That rule is purpose is bigger than money. So many people's purpose in life is to get a bigger house, a better car, a higher paying job. And I think that there is just something more to life than that. And I think minimalists understand that as well. They understand that money is not the ultimate goal. Money is not an idol like we talked about earlier. It's simply just a resource. And that comes with purpose being bigger than money as well. Let me ask you a question. Why would you change jobs? Why do you go to college to get a job? Is it to make more money? Or is it because you want to do something that you actually enjoy? I'm not saying that they both can't be intertwined. Like, I have a passion for something, but that naturally is in a higher paying field, making it more competitive. That doesn't mean I'm not a minimalist. It doesn't make me materialistic. It just means that my passion is in a field that genuinely has a higher income. But there's something to be said about not having a bunch of money, but doing something you love. And I think that fits with this. Find your purpose and chase it. Now, what I'm not saying saying is if your purpose is to sit in your basement and play video games, then you should do that. No, like you have to get a job, you have to be productive, and you have to make some money. You're gonna have to pay for rent or pay your mortgage. You're gonna have to pay your bills. You're gonna have to feed yourself. There is an extent to this. You need to be able to have money to live and function. But with that money, living simply gives you more freedom in other ways. I think it's just truly amazing if you look at it that way. But all of these things come down to one final rule that ties everything here together. And the fifth and final rule, and what I deem to probably be one of the most important rules of all, is spending with intention. I think nothing else about minimalism really matters if you aren't spending with intention, because that's where it all comes down to. On one side of the spectrum, you have minimalism. On the other side of the spectrum, you have materialism. If you want to be more minimalist, and I'm not saying you have to be at a 0 on a 0 to 100 scale of materialism, maybe you're around a 10 or a 20. But if you want to get closer to that minimalism side, you have to realize, what am I spending money on? First, let's cover all your basic necessities. Pay for housing, whether that's rent or mortgage, pay for your food, pay for clothes, pay for water, pay for electricity, pay for heat. And then once you get past those bare necessities, what makes you happy? Is it having a Netflix subscription and a cozy blanket and being able to come home and watch a movie every night with your spouse? Is it travel? Maybe it is travel. I think when we talk about minimalism, we talk about this living a simple life of doing nothing, but minimalism is really at the heart of just being intentional with your spending. Is it more minimalist to never travel? Sure. But I think it's all right to go and travel if you enjoy it, and that's just one example. Let me give you some practical examples of what this looks like in real life. Maybe you're in the stage of life where you're 20 and you like going and playing basketball with your friends. Okay, hey, spend money on a nice pair of shoes. Don't buy 6 or 7 different pairs of fancy Jordans, but buy a pair of shoes you really like that are comfortable and you can play basketball in. Get a nice ball and go play basketball. That doesn't mean to overspend on those things, but it means buying a nice high quality thing you enjoy. I think spending intentionally could also look like maybe you're older and you have a bunch of kids or grandkids, and spending intentionally really could just look like buying a bunch of food, preparing it, cooking it, and inviting everybody over to your house and having a nice meal. That's another way to spend intentionally on the things that truly matter to you. So anyways, what have I learned about living by these rules for a while? As a whole, I think this idea of minimalism is really important because I think money is important. I am going to school for a finance degree. I love the stock market. I love saving. I love investing. I love everything to do with money. But the thing that I've come to realize is the biggest thing people get wrong. They think money is going to change their life, and I've rarely seen circumstances where it does that. The best people that are good with money know that money is not really that important to living a happy, healthy life. We see millionaires and billionaires living lives of depression because they can't reach goals that they can never reach, because it's always one thing chasing another thing after another. So what's the alternative? Being minimalistic. It's not being a monk. It's not being Amish. It's just understanding that our culture and what it promotes is not going to make us happy. True fulfillment comes from family, friends, maybe a faith in a higher power. And I think through that, you can live a much happier life. And I would just encourage you to look at that more. But now that you understand these 5 money rules that create a minimalist mindset, there are specific things that minimalists completely avoid buying. And some of these might surprise you because they're things most people think they need. So check out this video where I reveal the 13 things minimalists never buy to keep life simple and save thousands of dollars. I think this could be really helpful, and I think you'll enjoy the video a lot.